All right, and now we're going to jump into the transits. So I'm going to put myself over there. I'm going to close half of these other windows. That one's got a lot of tabs. All right, I'm going to go into genetic matrix, and I'm going to look at the wheel, not the wheel, the calendar. So this week in the sun, we have gates 41, and in the earth, we have 31, and in the, I can never remember which is the north and south node, and apparently depending on which end of the planet you're in, it changes anyway, but we've got 24 and 44 in the nodes for the next week. I'm going to look and see if they form any connections with any of the other planets. All right, 22nd of January through to the 28th. I wish I could change the day this started, but genetic matrix doesn't allow for that. All right, so finally, so on Saturday, not every planet is having an impact on my chart. I am looking forward to the relief of that. So right now, at the moment, based on my charts, every single one is activating. And if you're looking at the chart, you can see that by the little eyes. So at the moment, this week, we're still at everything is active. All right. In terms of universal channels, we have 3041 coming through in the universe, and it will be here. I think it kicked in yesterday from memory. And it's going to be here until Friday the 27th. So let's start by looking up 3041. I need a body graph on this page as well. 3041, I believe, is a collective circuitry. Oh, look, I'm right. Yay. Page 68 in this book. This book is Human Design Circuitry by Richard Rudd. 4131, the channel of recognition. Instantly, I like the idea of that. A design of focused energy, feelings. It's in the sensing circuit. Oh, they've added other circuitry in there. It's in the collective circuitry. The sensing circuit must be one of the collective circuits. Let's go back to the beginning of the book, because this is me exploring. Okay, so the three circuit groups, the collective circuit group, the sensing circuit, and the understanding circuit. So yeah, so within the collective circuit group, there is the sensing circuit and the understanding circuit. And this is coming from the sensing circuit, the channel of recognition, channel of desire. These people are here to gain wisdom. Also, this channel is here to help us in this moment gain wisdom through exploring all kinds of feelings. Natural dreamers, and yet so many of their dreams are never even supposed to come true. So what that says to me instantly is this week our dreams will be far more vivid, and yet they're not necessarily needing to come true. They have a profound ability to stir the feelings of others through their dreams and wishes that they share. So this channel has a profound ability to stir the feelings in us and the wishes that we wish to share. Be aware of that profound feeling and the wishes that are coming through. Channel brings emotional pressure, often experienced as restlessness or nervousness, particularly when split off from other definitions. So if this is an energy that you're not normally connected to, so this will mean that you either have an undefined root and or an undefined solar plexus, then this energy is going to come potentially with restlessness and nervousness, particularly if you've got conditioning in this area that you're not meant to feel. Your feelings are bad. I'm not sure what the root would be because I don't have conditioning in the root, but I certainly have a lot of conditioning around which feelings are okay, which feelings are not okay. And allowing myself to tap into all of my feelings is something that I've been working on. So I'm not really, this has been with us since yesterday, I believe. I'm not really feeling the pressure of this because I've done so much deconditioning in this space. For anyone that hasn't done the deconditioning, letting go of the conditions that others place on us about our experience, this will feel quite deeply. It is a time for us to learn patience and composure. It can also create a moment where it is hard to make decisions and being aware that all of us at the moment will have a defined emotion center. The emotion center is the highest authority. And what that means is, in terms of decision making, this is going to play out and override things like our sacral response or the other authorities that come further down the line. Mine is sacral. Somewhere I've probably got a list, but at the moment I'm just going to tap into for me. So for me, this means that while my authority is sacral, when the emotion center is defined, that authority trumps. It is at the top of the hierarchy. And so authorities work in that hierarchy and move down. And so while I have a sacral authority, when my emotion center is defined, as it is by this current recognition channel, the 3041, and so will everybody. So this is a universal pattern for this week, the 22nd of January through till, and it may have started yesterday, maybe the 21st, through until the 27th, through until Friday. So this is going to play out for a while. This is going to play out for all of us, but it means that all of us have an emotional authority that is sitting above any other authority we would normally have. And so being aware of that, being aware that our emotions are going to play out. So it's the gate of contraction, decrease, and the gate of feelings, the clinging fire, I like that. What else does it say about that? This is the gate of desire, and it is the source of all emotional aches and yearnings. It's going to be an intense energy this week as everyone taps into that emotional aches and yearnings. And I invite you to. So by all means, seek out support if you need to, because you haven't done deconditioning about being able to have aches and yearnings. And recognize that that's okay at the moment. And I mean, it's okay at any time, but it's more profound, particularly for those of us with an undefined emotion center. Generally, it's going to become more profound. And even those with a defined emotion center, if this isn't one of your usual gates, so gate 30 isn't one of your usual gates coming out of your emotions center, your solar plexus, this is going to amplify just this piece of the energy of the solar plexus for you. These people may not know what their longing is for, but they are driven to want to try all kinds of new things, the result of which may or may not be the gaining of wisdom. Okay, so for me personally, and I'm just going to giggle at myself, yesterday there was, so I'm in ovulation. For anyone that's not okay with that, I'm probably not the person for you, so I talk about my menstrual cycle very openly. Welcome. I'm in ovulation, or my body is at least attempting to ovulate, and that's a whole other conversation about perimenopause and my poor body struggling to ovulate effortlessly right now, which it's done all my life, and now ovulation is proving to be more difficult as I age and my hormones are shifting. I'm in ovulation energy, and hopefully today will tick over. So my temperature went up just a fraction. Hopefully for the next 2 or 3 days, it will continue going up and will actually ovulate. I will actually ovulate and can then move into the next phase. So the ovulation energy is quite intense. It is a time where I am highly energetic, I'm highly motivated, and I am most susceptible to buying stuff. And what made me giggle with this, the openness to learn new things, someone, the friend that I've met through coach that I'm working with is running a Reiki course. And this is not been in my realm, not been on my agenda, but neither was navigating the planets and looking at where the transits were. And so clearly I'm in this space of trying new things even before this channel kicked in. But last night I bought, or committed to buy, the Reiki course when I have some extra money in my bank account on Thursday. So I said I'll pay for it on Thursday, and then it's 2 weekends away, 3 weekends away, I can't remember. But that, to me, I must check the timing of when this gate kicked in. I will do that now because I can. And I suspect that part of what's playing out is this try new things. And I don't know, there was something that just pulled me and drew me towards this course. Being aware of that and recognizing that some of the things that we are drawn to this week may not be what's consistent. And for anyone that generally has an emotional authority is going to be used to riding the waves of emotion. For me, it's very unfamiliar. And so, yeah, that's just funny to me. So gate 41 kicked in at 18:38 p.m. my time on Sunday the 22nd, because this is set to Sydney, Australia time. I can't work out what the time zone is. Yeah, so that's about when I decided to do this Reiki course. So that to me is just fascinating. All right, let's look at what else is going on. So in terms of the planetary ones, mutation is 360, kicks in on Saturday. I'm not going to look at that. It's too far away. And I feel like I've spoken about it. I'm just going to open my Human Design app and just make sure. So there's a bunch of other transits that are going on there. In genetic matrix, as you can see on the screen when you're watching the one with the screen, that gives the blue and the purple. So the purples are really easy to spot that it is the collective transits, like everybody's going to experience them, but some of the blue ones may as well. So January 23rd, 6:28 a.m. All right, here we go. Current transits. All right, so we've got January. So I'm just going to click the plus button and we're just going to look at what else comes up in the collective transits. So there's one, so the 360. All right, so there's no other collective, no other collective transits. So we've got from now, and we're just going to scroll through, watch those little gates shift. Bounce, 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 bounce. All right, done. So in terms of channels for me personally, we've got awareness 2461, which I'm pretty sure I looked at last week, 214, 1648, 1159, 2644, and synthesis 1940. So all of those I looked at last week. All of those have been around for a little while. So the only thing really jumping out of this is the 3041 piece, which is kind of cool. There was something that I wanted to look at in my natal chart. Was my gates. I'm just going to go to my natal chart. All right, so in my natal chart, and I'm just going to go back to what I was discussing before about the ego. So coming off the ego, we've got 26, 51, 21, and 40, and then the companion gates are 44. That's why my motivation is so consistent at the moment, because that's currently active in the calendar. So companion gates 44, 25, 45, and 37. So for me, I have in my natal chart, 26 comes directly off my ego motivation center. So that is my, when that center ends up defined, that's my consistent energy that comes with it. And then 40, 37. So the 37 is the other. So I've got two hanging gates. One is the 37 leading towards the ego, connecting with the 40, excuse my old eyes, coming off the ego center. And then the other is the 26 connecting with the 44 coming off. 5125, I don't have a gate or anything in there. And 2145, I don't have anything in there. So let's look up 4037. For me, both of my motivations fit within the tribal circuitry. Let's just look at that for a second. So I'm looking up 4037, page 82. So I just want to look at the tribal circuit for a moment. All right. So 2145 is also in the tribal circuit. So the three motivations here are, three of the four motivations here sit within the tribal circuit. The fourth one sits within the individual circuit. So for me, the two hanging gates that I've got, which open up the channels that I'll feel the most impact of, are sitting within that tribal circuit. The one that most people speak of, oh no, so money sits within that tribal circuit as well. It is the impact influence that sits in the individual circuit. So 25, 51, I don't know, I'm just throwing out like pop questions in. I know I'm speaking huge jargon, but gate 51 off the ego center is the gate of impact. 26 is those gates go, because I can then just read them out. 26 is the do it self, but I can't remember what they call it, which is me incidentally living out the do it self. 26 is the taming of the great power, the egoist. I'm going to do it my way. I like do it self better than the egoist personally, which of course is me playing out that gate, and that pattern, that channel is active for me through the universe right now. Gate 40 is on the next page. Deliverance, aloneness, which connects them with 37, which is the family and friendship, and that is the community, a design of being a part of seeking a whole. So for me, and I think I've spoken about this on one of my other self-reflection videos, this 37 gate is my desire to be part of a community, and my motivation links very strongly to being a part of the community, particularly when that channel is activated by others. Both my ego and my emotion center are undefined. So 37 is a hanging gate leading from an undefined to an undefined center. So when 40 comes to life, both of those centers become defined. And yeah, there's a lot of conditioning for me in that space around fitting in, around belonging, around suppressing emotions to fit in, around following other people's agendas for emotions instead of my own, to be a part of the community. 26 for me leads to, or 26 for everybody leads to 44, but for me, 26 is a hanging gate leading to a defined center, so the defined spleen or intuition center, and then the other two are completely open channels. So that's definitely going to be so the impact that I meant to make and the money that I meant to make, both of those channels are very open to influence and conditioning, because neither of them are my own. So even if someone comes with that channel, I can leverage it and play off it, but it's not necessarily going to work particularly well for me. Whereas the 37 and the 26 and those two accompanying channels coming out of that motivation center, I at least have some definition and can tap into my own way of doing it somewhat because of that definition. And so for me at the moment, the 2644 is currently active. I'm just going to look up how long that's going to be active. So 44, 26, the end of this sheet. That's not. All right, so we're looking at, it's not at the end of the sheet because it's not a universal one. So we're looking at that node, and the 44 is with us until the 6th of February. So that's one of the influences. So the 44 is with us till the 6th of February. The 16 is with us until the 5th of February, which is why I am looking to get my course launched on the 1st of February and then get it built in that week once the kids are back at school, and really leverage this 44 energy and that consistent motivation. So I've noticed over the last month or so, this 44's been with us since before January. My chart only goes back to the 8th of January. And that consistent motivation has been consistent for me. Through that, also my enthusiasm and my skills and playing in what I'm good at has been consistent, because that 16 has been with us for quite a while through Mars as well. Both, I think, are in retrograde, which has them staying around a little bit longer. So I'm going to continue leveraging that. And then once they disappear, and what I'm realizing, so while I've been seeking out the 16s, I think that 44 is just as important for me in accountability buddies. I'm just going to look at my mentor's chart and see if she also comes with that 44, because that would be helpful. And I've got my accountability buddies charts, and so I'm just going to look at them. So of the people that I've got in my world, two of them had that complete channel, 2644, which if it was a conversation would make it a compromise channel. And so being aware of that compromise that might play out in that space. What we're compromising on, though, is the 44, which is the coming to me. I'm kind of willing to compromise on the 44. Actually, Yeah, so no, they come with the 44 and then we compromise on the 26. So either they have to compromise or I have to compromise. Generally, though, the people I'm just hanging out with, and there's not the challenge. And then, so one is a compromise channel, and that person I hang out with in an accountability setting. And when there's no competition there, we're on together. I feel more motivated with him. I'll definitely start to feel the energy of that a little bit more moving forward. And then the other is an electromagnetic channel, and there's a bunch of people there that don't have it. And so it's tapping into and finding for me, once this energy has disappeared, how I'm going to access and tap into that for myself, because that motivation is transient. All right, I know I'm over time. I don't care. No one's logged in with questions, so I'm just going to, so this will be the human design Q&A question time as well, which launches on the 1st of February in a week. Is that in a week? Why did I pick the 1st? Yeah, on the Wednesday in a week. All right, so I'm just going to pull out one of my archetype partnerings. Oh, the prostitute. Why'd I go for that? Okay, so I'm in house 5. I've got my, I don't know whether that'll show on the computer. Oops. Got the Hermit from my cat tarot cards. And then I've got prostitute, companion, advocate. Oh, I think the companion. Yeah, nice. And then the advocate. Nice. All right, so prostitute places material considerations and security above one's self-empowerment. All of the conditioning I've just been talking about, the ego fits into that, and it's that fitting in. The companion has a loss of personal identity, transitioning to loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. And then the advocate is inspiring you to put compassion into action. I think all of that is where I'm playing today. The creativity, the joy of being. I'm not quite sure what to do with that hermit. I'm going to look him up in the book, in the tarot in just a second. But that playing out of material consideration and security above empowerment, which is that motivation of money, which I've been dispelling. Tapping into the loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness, which again speaks back to the community rather than the money. But the money sits in so maybe it's actually even tapping into and moving away from that impact. Money and impact are the two things that I've been most conditioned around. And then the advocate, inspiring you to put compassion into action, being compassionate with yourself, no matter what it is that your motivation is. And now I'm just going to look up this little hermit. I'm going to look him up in this one because I picked it up. And then I'm going to pull out my cat tarot one and look him up in there as well. So he is number 9 in the tarot. 12, 10. Nice. So you've gone within and have acquired a deep inner knowledge of the path ahead. Go within as often as you need to be reminded of how to walk through this world with the total faith in the process. I think I'm getting far more comfortable. When I first started this personal development journey, go within and find the answers used to scare the crap out of me, because I would go within and I would find fear and darkness and shame and guilt and all of these things that I didn't really want to have to address. And often things that weren't my own, particularly feelings. I'm realizing that for anyone that has an undefined emotion center, the feel to heal work, while it does add some journey forward, it also adds a level of chaos because it speaks to a part of us that is undefined, and it is where there's going to be so much conditioning. So feeling more deeply is feeling other people's feelings. So, and I've seen this for myself with coaches. The end of that sentence was feeling more deeply is feeling other people's emotions more deeply. I've seen this for myself with coaches where they'll invite me into a feeling and it's not my feeling that I'm feeling. It's either something from my conditioning if we're going back through memories and I'm tapping into conditioned emotions. So it might have been my mother's or my father's or my sister's or my brother's or someone outside of me, my teachers. I remember the anger from going back to a defining moment with a teacher at some point. Or often I tune into their feelings. So if there's no context and I'm not tapping into something from, it's just, what are you feeling in this moment? And I'm tuning into and feeling their feelings instead of my own. So when we have an undefined emotion center, feeling to healing is not great, which is we're doing it on our own, which is what I've learned to do. If I want to feel into my feelings and understand myself, I have to do it in isolation. I have to hermit, because otherwise I'm attuned into everybody else's emotions and picking up on the stuff around me. Whereas my intuition, because it's defined, I can tune into that in the presence of others. My identity, I can tune into. My message, I can tune into. There's a whole bunch of things. My own ideas, I really struggle to do with company as well, because I have an open ideas center, and inspiration comes from connecting with others. So yeah, knowing what's defined and undefined is really key to us understanding. And so for me, the hermit has been a gift. But when I used to retreat, I would still be overwhelmed by emotions from the conditioning and not know how to discern if this was mine and if this was someone else's. And the way I've been practicing that recently, and I say recently, probably over the last 5 years, is watching with more consciousness over the last 5 weeks, watching movies, because in movies, it's really easy for me to identify that it's not my emotion. It's really easy for me to recognize that I am identifying with the character in the movie. But when I'm doing it in person, it hadn't occurred to me that I'm doing that same thing. So I like the hermit, and I'm more comfortable going into the hermit now because I can discern what's mine and what's somebody else's. I also have the tools, the skills to be able to navigate my emotions, but I find that works better for me in isolation than with a coach. Potentially, if I worked with a coach with an open emotion center, I'd get a different result. Most of the coaches I've worked with seem to have a defined emotion center. All right, the little cat hermit. Indoor kitties needn't be any less worldly than wild ones. Oh, I like that. Much wisdom can be gained simply by watching from the window or even hiding in a shopping bag while the rest of the world goes about its business. The eye of Horus suggests protection and healing. Here is a safe space to turn your gaze inward. Soul searching may lead you to new realizations or past selves. The Hermit card also reminds us not to be scaredy cats. The world needs our wisdom. Come out of our cave and share it. I love that. And so for me, that's in house 5, which is creativity, expression, my inner child, romance, pleasure, sex, amusement, leisure, hobbies, interests. So letting go of that attachment to placing material considerations and security above self-empowerment, stepping into having less of a loss of personal identity, stepping into having more of my own personal identity, and coming with that loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. And most of all, that advocate coming with the inspiration to put compassion into action. I love exploring these cards, love exploring with the wheel. And yeah, if you're watching on YouTube and you don't know what I do, please stalk me, follow me, look me up, and have an exploration. And if you want to chat about what I do and how I could potentially work with you, please reach out. From today, there's 2 main pieces that I've played with. One is the human design stuff. By all means, go look up the transits, look up the human design stuff on my website, which is slowly getting rebuilt. If you need that link because it's not publicly yet, let me know, or I'll pop it down below, the human design link. And then the other piece is the archetypes wheel, which is an advanced training that I do about connecting with our inner team of champions. So discovering the different parts of ourselves, having them play together nicely. And so, yeah, by all means, I hope you enjoyed this. If you've got any questions, please let me know in the comments. And I look forward to connecting with you soon. All right, enjoy your day. Bye.